Namaste children. This is Jyoti Devgan from the Department of English and welcome to the second part of the story, The Day Beni Pishi Lost Her Voice. As I told you that wit and humor are the spice of life. Without these qualities, life would be tasteless. So let's add a dash of these spices and make life more tangier, tastier and truly delicious. In the previous part, I told you that suddenly the compulsive talker Beni Pishi stops talking. And what happens then? As always, everyone starts giving their advice. Do this, this must be this must be because of this, and so on. So much so that the silliest man in the village also suggested something. Now let's take the story ahead. I had told you that Ramu had once advised Beni Pishi not to go with open tresses near the neem tree. And now, just because she had gone there, he started thinking that definitely this is a result of that conspiracy that had been made up or cooked up by the ghosts. To escape from the ire of my father. Ire meaning anger. But then no one present there could breathe but another word that might explain that strange incident. Is there a remedy? We asked Ramu. Of course, there is. Ramu, the wisdom personified. Personified here means to be an example of something. Now today, the silliest man Ramu was he was acting as if he was the hero. Replied, send for someone who can drive away the ghost. So, such a person was sent for. Arrangements for shooing away the ghost were made. For shooing meaning to make somebody go away, to make the ghost run away. A big pyre was lit at the center of the courtyard. Now what is a pyre? Pyre means a huge pile of wood. It was lit in the center of the courtyard. The man dressed in red and chanting strange words at his loudest began thrashing Beni Pishi with a broom. Thrashing meaning hitting. And what was he doing? He was thrashing Beni Pishi with the help of a broom. Broom is a jhadu. We could all see that he was actually thrashing Beni Pishi and not the ghost with the broom and making her sniff, making her smell a sizzling meaning hot bit of garlic. But it was not exactly the moment to make these observations. And we didn't like it because that man, he was uttering out something and he was trying to hit Beni Pishi with a broom. The ghost was nowhere to be seen. The man might have continued for some more time. Right at that moment, a most wonderful thing happened. Beni Pishi snatched away the broom from his hand and with it thrashed him to pieces. He left howling and leaping. The way we had expected the ghost of the neem tree too. Now what happens? Beni Pishi was annoyed. She was really annoyed. What the hell? What have I done? This man is thrashing me like this with a broom. She took the broom from his hand and started hitting that man. And that man, He started shouting, shrieking, and leapt away, the way we all thought the ghost of the neem tree would leap. However, the problem still stood at square one. Square one means from where we had started, the problem was there only. Beni Pishi was still speechless. She did not still utter a word. She glared so fiercely at all of us that we dared not suggest another cure for her strange illness. Glared means when you look at someone in an angry manner. Just then, someone remembered that Ghanshyam Kaka, Beni Pishi's brother, was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, they remembered, where is Ghanshyam Mondal? Where is Beni Pishi's brother? And Ghanshyam Kaka, meaning Ghanshyam Chacha, where is he? While we were still discussing this, Ghanshyam Kaka's voice sounded from behind. Suddenly, the sound of Ghanshyam Kaka came. Now, what did he say? He said, what is happening? Why has the entire village come down to my courtyard? Beni, would you explain? Now, Beni Pishi cannot explain anything to you, Kaka. One of us said, you see, poor woman, she has lost her voice. Then someone went on to narrate the theory regarding the ghost. Narrating is when you tell the story. Now, what was the story? It was related to the ghost. And cursed the moment Beni Pishi had decided to walk under the tree with untied hair. The same story was narrated to Ghanshyam Mondal. I was not really listening to anything. My mind was elsewhere. I could see Ghanshyam Kaka carefully taking out a small brown paper packet from his pocket of his kurta. Here, Beni Pishi, put on this. It's a brand new pair and costs twice over. Now, don't go bathing in the river wearing this one. Beni Pishi hurriedly unwrapped the packet. We all peered to see. Peered meaning when you see something very, very carefully. We all peered down to see what it contained. And would you believe it? What was there in that packet? All it contained was a pair of dentures rimmed with pink plastic gum and looking grand with almost real looking teeth. Now, what are dentures? Dentures meaning artificial teeth. What use could Beni have for this? Before we could voice our question to Ghanshyam Kaka, we saw Beni hurriedly slipping the dentures into her toothless gum. Finally, the ghost of the neem tree dispossessed her. Now, did you understand what happened? She quickly took the dentures and she fitted it in her mouth. And that means now the story had almost ended. The story of the ghost, that there was no ghost. What, Dada? She immediately took off in her characteristic loud shrill. Shrill meaning very high and loud. You have no sense really. Must you have handed me the pair of dentures in the presence of all these people? You gave me my artificial teeth in front of so many people? Haven't I always told everybody that I had teeth like the Himalayan rocks, strong and everlasting? Kya Dinu Kaka, you spoiled my game, she said, I have always been telling everyone that I had Himalayan kind of teeth. Everlasting. Everlasting meaning lasting forever. Yes, we had often heard Beni Pishi boast about her teeth. So that was it. She really did not have her own pair of teeth. She must have lost the denture while taking a bath in the river the previous day. How could she open her mouth to talk at the risk of being found out to be toothless? Means she could not even resist talking when she was bathing. She could not control herself. For once we saw our mighty Beni Pishi blushing. The meaning of the word blushing is she was embarrassed. She was ashamed of herself because she had been telling everyone that she had beautiful Himalayan rock teeth. And now the whole village came to know the secret. We thought of the poor man. He had had the worst beating of his life at Pishi's hands and must still be running in fear that Pishi, under the influence of the possession, might follow him till the end of the planet to teach him what it takes to try to dispossess a person of the ghost of the neem tree. Now, what the writer wants to say here is that everyone was worried about that poor man who had been called to try and help Beni so that the ghost of the neem tree would dispossess Beni. And Beni would have not spared, she actually did not spare that man. That's all for today, children. The writer of this story is Suparna Dotto. She's an Indian author who has written many stories, and she has more short stories to her credit. In her writings, Suparna Dotto, she gives a fresh lease of life to seemingly insignificant incidents in our everyday life. Now you know how a common incident that had happened, and the writer has knitted the story beautifully. Thank you so much, children.